Alan Wake 2 is a very special game for me. As a huge fan of the original who has been begging and pleading for a sequel for nearly 13 years, I was overjoyed to see this get announced. Remedy's masterful storytelling abilities have not disappeared over the years. In fact, they've only gotten better. From Alan Wake to Quantum Break to Control and now Alan Wake 2, I don't think there's ever been a universe so masterfully crafted that it has demanded my attention as much as Remedy's connected universe. As a big survival horror fan too, I was very excited to see the game return to its roots for a battle between light and dark, or I guess flashlights and shadows for the most part. As with all of our reviews, expect some potential spoilers for Alan Wake 2. The biggest selling point for the series as a whole is its narrative, and it's crazier than ever. Remedy has perfected the art of storytelling with this game, building up from the groundwork laid in the first game and expanded upon in Control. An incredible mix of humour, horror, and a mind-bending, lore-heavy narrative which is almost Lovecraftian in nature. It will just make your head explode at times, but in a good way. There is so much I could talk about here, so many theories, but this isn't the video where I go into that. So I'll just repeat what I said. Alan Wake 2's narrative was a mind-blowing experience, full of great plot twists and edge-of-your-seat moments that at least left me wanting more, and I know it left a lot of other people wanting a lot more as well. The ending had me excited, and I'm once again on my knees begging and pleading for a sequel. Thankfully this time around it looks way more likely. The voice acting in this game is phenomenal, and so is the live action work. For those not familiar with Remedy's previous work, they are experts in weaving in moments of live action into video games. They did it with Control, and now they're doing it here. Most of that comes in the form of hilarious TV adverts and some rather important story sections featuring David Harewood's Mr. Door, which we'll learn about more I assume in the future, and Ilka Villi's Alan Wake, with Matthew Peretta voicing Alan Wake as well. I can't fault anything in the story. I was entertained throughout both Alan Wake and Saga Anderson's sides. Now, speaking of Saga, this game features two main playable characters, with very different gameplay experiences. Alan Wake's journey takes him through the Dark Place, visiting different areas of a fictional New York City, and really delving into the lore and mystery surrounding the Alan Wake universe. Saga Anderson's story takes place in the real world, well, I assume the real world, as she investigates a series of murders by a ritualistic cult in Bright Falls. Their stories quickly become intertwined, but the gameplay stays unique between the pair. Saga's gameplay is more in line with the original game, focusing more on the survival horror aspects, but also introducing a new element with Saga's ability to enter her mind palace and basically solve cases while exploring. It gives a lot of lore detail and is just a really cool addition. Overall, that gameplay loop is truly entertaining and had me coming back for more each time I had to put the controller down. Now, what else is there left for me to praise in the game? The soundtrack for a start? After each chapter ends, the game throws a new song at you. All of these are well crafted, great listens that also are relevant to the story of each chapter, laying out some truths, recalling some events, or even hinting at some things to come. It's a great way to end a chapter, and although it was also a feature in the first game, it does take some inspiration from the likes of Twin Peaks, for example. Poets of the Fall are also once again a major feature on the game's soundtrack, and they don't disappoint. Away from the chapter songs and other large set piece musical moments, I'd also like to mention the sound effects and expertly created atmospheric music that really helps to up the intensity for certain moments in the game. This is so crucial in survival horror games, and they've once again nailed something else here. Now, let's just move on to the graphics, shall we? I'm really struggling to find anything to hate, I'll be really honest. The game is beautiful when you can actually take in your surroundings and get a good feel of the atmosphere, it's one of the best looking horror games out there. You can of course see a big difference between the gameplay and the live action segments, but we're not quite at that point just yet. But the art style and direction fit this game perfectly. I had to really think about something to dislike about this game, and that thing has nothing to do with the quality of the game itself. It's just the lack of a physical version of the game, which is a little bit disappointing. I still fully recommend it on digital to everyone, and would advise that it not dissuade you from diving into this insane world, but it is a negative, and we do need to highlight those here. What a year of gaming 2023 has turned out to be. Every game I've played for this channel and reviewed has felt like game of the year, one after the other, and this is absolutely no different. There is still some time left in the year, but Alan Wake 2 may be my personal game of 2023, which is why it fully deserves this 10 out of 10 rating. I know I've given out pretty much only 10 out of 10s on this channel recently, but they're all fully deserved in their own way. Alan Wake 2 is a clear masterpiece, and I recommend anyone and everyone to play it and show some love to the developers. Big credit to Sam Lake and the team at Remedy. I had high expectations and they massively exceeded them, and I can't wait for the next installment in this universe. So, have you played Alan Wake 2? What did you think? Let us know down in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed our content recently. It really helps us build the channel and produce more content like this.
It's not a loop. It's a spiral.